Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 100 Authors, 100 Days. And today we have, of course, one of my favorite authors, Miss Gina Pero, who just recently wrote and launched the Lipstick, Lashes, and God book, which she has in her hands with the amazing logo. We managed to get the logo on there for the bestseller. She hit bestseller in the last week or so. Really, really excited for her. And wanted to come on because guess what? In about an hour, if you're watching this before 12 on May 24th, she's going to be launching the premiere on YouTube for the book launch, where she will be connecting with all of the viewers via chat, and you get to see everything that transpired in the book launch and everybody that showed up and the wonderful conversations that we had while we were launching her book. So you get to be part of that. But I'm happy that you're joining me pre-launch, Gina. So how are you doing today?
I'm feeling grateful. I feel inspired. Uh, and it's just been a week, and
Yeah,
so
a lot
I'm
has happened, right?
a lot has happened in a week. And I definitely know, with the book being about divine invitation, divine redirection, divine intention, divine purpose, there's just there's just been a lot within a week that
Mhm.
I'm seeing how the message of the book is really touching other people's lives.
Yeah, I love it. I love, you know, having worked with you for almost a year, right? Has it been a
More.
year? More than a year? Wow, has it been more than a year?
Yes.
Oh, okay. But
Oh, yeah.
just for the viewers that are watching, I've known Gina for a very long time. And we both live here in Las Vegas, and I'm privileged enough to be her publisher. But we started working on this book, I guess, according to Gina, over a year ago, and so we're now just launching this beautiful, beautiful work of. I think it's very artistic, and I love the stories, and I love working with you, and going through the stories with you and reading them on the calls. As for those of you who are working with me, I do the book coaching process. So Gina has been really been amazing to work with, and I can't wait for the readers to read your stories. So let's get a little bit into the book, and I want to talk about one of the stories in your book, which is on page 145. It's called The Divine Knockout.
Yeah.
And you have this quote in here that says, "What appears to be knocking you down may actually be lifting you towards your true calling. Your greatest setbacks often contain the seeds of your most meaningful redirection. If you're willing to see divine intention and unexpected packaging." I love that because that's so true in my life. And before you comment on that, I just want to let the viewers know that this has been this journey with you, and having had the privilege to work with you on this as your book coach. There's been a lot of those magical moments where there's been redirection, where I thought I was going to do certain things with the coaching program, and then you were actually my teacher, as opposed to me being the other way around, where I was like, oh, maybe I should tweak this, or I should do this. So I appreciate that, because there's a lot of magic that happened while you were writing this. And we both know we had moments where you can talk about transmissions and all of that, which I think is very cool. But yeah, so tell me about this knockout and why this particular story on page 145 is a pivotal story for this particular book.
Well, I was performing with the Radio City Rockettes, and I had done one season previous to this second season. And I will share with you, 17 shows a week, sometimes 4 shows a day, 300 kicks a show. Do the math. We know how many kicks a show. My first season was brilliant. It was such an amazing experience. But my body was sore and tired at the end of that 3-month excursion, I call it. My second season was also incredible. However, there was a moment in time that I kept this secret to myself. It was almost like I was ashamed to share it with other people because I was like, this is tough. I don't know if I could do this. I mean, I am a rockette and I should be grateful, but like something inside me is telling me like I need a break or I need to stop. And so the divine knockout truly came as I was asking God for a redirection, although I didn't know what that redirection was. So yeah, every night in the show, there is a nativity scene and it's 12 minutes long. And that was my time with God. That was my 12 minutes. I'm a gift bearer at that point, so no one knows I'm a rockette in the audience. And so it was just like, thank goodness I need this 12 minutes.
Wow.
I would pray and I would just talk to God, to myself during this 12 minutes. And there was one night, and I share it, in the chapter that I was like, look, I am tired. I don't know, there's a different purpose for me, but my body hurts. And I know I should be grateful, and I am grateful. But in this moment, I'm really not. And I'm afraid to even tell you this, God, because I feel like I should be all of these things. But I'm just going to be raw and honest with you.
Mhm.
And the very next day, I got hit underneath the chin by a fist, unconscious concussion, fell to the floor.
Wow. Hmm.
Yeah.
So we've kidded around about this before where, be careful what you ask for because God will deliver. And maybe the word gentle, do it easily.
I didn't have the words with ease. And also,
Right.
look, I add prayers at the end of every chapter. And after every one says, with ease, please.
Yes, with ease, please. Make it smooth. Yeah. But I remember when you first told me about this many, many years ago when we met, we were both we met at a speakers event. We were there speaking with kids. I don't remember if it was an elementary school or a high school, but we were speaking with the kids, and that's where we met. And so I got to know you, and you had shared about how difficult it was to recover from that because at some point, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but you had to start all over again from moving your body and speaking, and you had to basically start from zero. And so I can't even imagine how difficult that must have been. Can you share a little bit about that recovery?
Yeah, the recovery was quite a process. And I don't cover this in the book. So this will be in another book about recovery and healing. But I went back into the show 4 days after that experience.
What?
I was cleared by the doctor.
Wow.
And that was a mistake.
Hmm.
And I didn't listen to the divine messages previously because I was destined to get back on the stage. And I was also afraid. I mean, quite transparently, I was afraid that they were going to kick me out. I was going to lose my job. I had so much fear at that time in my life and in my body that I was pushing to get
Yeah.
back in. So
How old
I
were
did
you? How old were you when
at 29.
you were 29? So you were making those decisions. Yeah, like, and that was your career, right? So,
That was my career. I had nothing else. I mean, I was not running my own business. If they didn't pay me, I was already like, how am I going to pay rent? I mean, that's where I was living at 29.
wow. Yeah.
So I went back in 4 days later, and it cost me a lot of healing time
Wow.
because
Wow.
that experience, there was two sides to that experience. One, I was so present. I could not be anything but present because my brain couldn't even think about the future. I was so afraid to even not be here. So the experience I had about profound presence was I had never felt that performing ever.
Hmm.
So there was a gift, of course, but the journey was a long recovery journey because I had to go back to remedial math. I had to go back to crawling, walking without any symptoms, any headache, any eye dilation, any sensitivity, any irritability.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, when you were telling me that, I was like, whoa, like if you can survive that and heal from that, you can do anything.
Yeah. And it was,
Amazing.
when you're dancing, you don't take off because you have a headache. You don't take off because you're irritable. You don't take off because you have a sensitivity. You
Mm,
push or you pushed, back in my day. That's what I learned. However, this experience taught me that the body gives us messages
mhm.
all the time. And when we're irritable or have a headache or we have a slight sensitivity, listen promptly in that immediate message.
Yes. I had to
That,
learn that the hard way as well, because I was never in my body. I was always in my mind, doing, performing. And I think that when we first met, we both had that same drive, I think. We're like, oh, we're speaking to the kids and we're in the speaking circuit and, we're doing all these really cool things. And for me,
mm,
I remember not really stopping to pay attention to exactly what you're talking about, which is another thing that I love about your book because you show people how to do that in the book. And I love that at the end of every chapter, you have a really neat lipstick, lashes, and God lesson. That I really appreciate just as a reader. You have like these steps that people can walk through, and so they're very neat. It's a very neat way to end every chapter. But well, like you said, that for me as well, I can totally relate to not listening to my body and just pushing through it. Um, and because I have a military background, so in the military, it's really big to just, the word, just suck it up, deal with it. And that really hurt me. Another thing that I can really, that I see about you and that I appreciate about you is your level of discipline is unbelievable. Like your level of discipline, even while launching the book and working alongside you to, make this launch happen, just, you're on task, you're, paying attention to the detail, you're very involved with the process. So I definitely appreciate that. And I can see how that sometimes gets in our way, right? It gets in our way. And I'm very similar to you in that sense, but at some point, as my story, and it's for another day, but I had to stop because my body just gave out as well. And
yeah.
I don't know if it has to do with the fact that we're women. I don't think so. I think it just has to do with the fact that we're driven. And
Yeah.
that's one thing that this book does beautifully is it reminds you to pay attention to those God moments, if you will, those moments like earlier you said, being present and being in the moment. And so I just really appreciate this book. And I also want to say, as we were reading the chapters together, as you know, there was transmission. There was this transmission of energy that was coming through the book that was
Yeah.
just really beautiful that I got to experience and that I got to live. And I believe that the reader will also be able to experience that in this book. And of course, if you buy it on Amazon, for those of you who are watching, you'll get the one with the neat bestseller seal. But what is one final thing that you want to let the reader know about the book and why you decided to bring this book to life and why it was important to you?
Well, I grew up as a dancer and I had teachers teaching me the steps, teaching me the choreography, teaching me the choreography to perform. And I didn't have a life choreographer. Who was teaching me the steps to get through setbacks? Who was teaching me the steps to listen to my body? Who was teaching me the steps to easily see divine invitation? And this book gives the reader simplified reminders and steps and prayers that are easy to follow and easy to implement.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
And it and that's it. I mean, had I had these easy steps through my divine knockout or through my scoliosis and wearing a back brace, I think life would have been easier. Not that the obstacle wouldn't have been present,
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
But I truly know that we can live in our bodies and our minds and our spirits with ease, with more joy, with more love, with more perfection, like we're infinite, and you know, and that's what I love so much about dance and choreography. It like gives us these steps that we can then take and develop our own unique movement. And that's awesome. But when your body hurts because nobody's given you the steps to like take care of your well-being,
Right.
then you can't dance anymore. Or then you have to stop doing something you love.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Yes.
yeah, so that's what I want to share.
That's beautiful, Gina. I love it. So I
Yeah.
really see it as a blueprint, like that blueprint that you didn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the blueprint that you didn't have. So I appreciate you having this short conversation with me this morning, right before your launch, your book launch happening on YouTube. The link is below. Make sure you check it out. And even if you watch it after today, um, you can still comment in the comments section. You get to see the entire book launch experience for Gina and all the people that showed up for her on that day. And then remember to look at the commentary on the side, the live chat. She will be answering questions, and you can reach out to her via her webpage at ginapero.com. And I just want to say that I absolutely love working with you on this book. It
Oh,
was it was quite amazing, quite a spiritual journey. And I just want to say that yesterday while we were on the call, I was on another call, and then you had called, and when I looked at my phone, I had seen that it was 444. Which but we're both into signs and numbers and things like that, right? And then I ended up calling you, and then you got to look at your sales on Amazon, and then we saw another 444, which I thought was interesting. So we've had a lot of interesting um you know serendipitous moments throughout this journey, and I just think it's been a lot of fun. And I definitely want to encourage anyone who um, can really see themselves in Gina's story to pick up a book, to get it on Amazon. She's got the ebook, and then also, can you tell us a little bit about your audiobook that's coming out?
wow, yes. So that's coming up and I'm so excited. And my friend's studio is l literally one block from my studio.
Awesome.
And so just that in itself, you're like, okay, let's do the Audible. But the Audible will be coming out and I am going to be the narrator. I will be
Awesome. I love
reading it
that.
and
Hmm.
sharing it through my voice, my vessel. And I'm sure within the next couple weeks. So,
Perfect. Yeah. And we'll have promo for that too. And I
oh
look
yeah,
forward to hearing it. A lot of times well, most of the time, it's just so much different when you hear it as opposed to when you read it. So it's
and
a different
friends.
experience.
I will say, some of my friends living in New York right now, they're on the subway and they're walking and they said, oh, Gina, we can't wait because now we can listen as we're walking the streets of New York. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just thinking how wonderful the Audible will be for so many people who are on that journey of listening and just want something inspiring and motivational playing in their ears, just how cool.
Yeah. And you have a music too. You have music in the background that you can have as well. So
Well, yes, and I thank you for
thank
the journey. You have been extraordinary. You are extraordinary.
you. Thank
And
you.
every day you wow me. I mean, even this morning, we're talking, I'm like, there it goes again. Like, as you help me with my press release and you're showing me all the things and you go the extra mile, but you're also just this wealth of knowledge and wisdom and care and love and your purpose in helping authors get their message out. And
Thank you.
yeah, so I just thank you truly because the journey that this has been one of the most fun processes I've ever experienced.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
been fun for me too. Thank you.
although it's tedious and it's
Mhm.
fun and I'll call you until you answer at some point. That's my discipline. Like I want to get on and do some formatting with you,
Yeah.
um, and it just is, I love it. I love that you're welcoming my intuitive perfectionista, I call it.
Yeah, we all have a little bit of that. So that I definitely appreciate that about you because you keep me on my toes and you keep me um, learning, and adjusting. And so that's when, as you know, as an entrepreneur, you have to constantly adjust and revisit and, make it better. And, I'm just doing what I wish someone would have done for me when I started launching my books, many, many years ago. And I told myself I wanted to be fun. And, of course, I get to work with amazing writers, and I'm glad that you had fun, and thank you so much for those kind words. They really mean a lot to me. That's very kind. Thank you so much. So, all right, so let's get on to the book launch that is happening in the next 15 minutes. Link is below. Subscribe to Gina's YouTube channel. And if you make it before 12, get a notification, hit the little notification button, and we will see you at the book launch. So bye, everyone. Thank you for listening in.